This video is for March 22nd. Welcome to yes2hellwith.com. Now we reach the practical conclusion of this series. If good faith belief matters in law, if criminal tax liability depends upon willfulness, if willfulness means the intentional violation of a known legal duty, and if a sincere understanding can matter in a field as technical as tax law, there is one question that remains. How does a person preserve that good faith before the machinery of enforcement arrives? That is where the statement of understanding comes into play. The statement of understanding is not magic. It is not a charm. It does not force a court to agree with you. What it does is far more serious than that. It documents the process by which you came to understand the law. It shows that your position was not casual. It was not invented overnight. It was not a tantrum. It was a product of inquiry into definitions, jurisdiction, status, classes of persons, statutory language, and the structure of obligation itself. That is why this work matters. And then comes the next lawful step. Inquiry. Inquiry to Congress, to public officials, to agents. Now, if Congress wrote the definitions in Section 7701, if Congress structured the classes in the code, if Congress enacted the liability provisions, then Congress can and should be asked to clarify what those provisions mean and how they relate to the duties being enforced against the American people. That is why this series culminates in writing a document that solidifies one's good faith belief and then using the lawful legal process to put on notice by asking questions of those officials accountable for the law that was written and the enforcement of those very laws. Not because Congress and officials always answer honestly, they don't, but because lawful inquiry strengthens the record of good faith. The fact that you ask is paramount. It shows that the person was not hiding. He was seeking, he was studying. He wanted to clarify from the source of legislative language or enforcement officials themselves. That is the Liberty Dialogue's difference. The federal government and IRS and their systems run on presumption. The Liberty Dialogues series teaches us to interrupt those presumptions with structure. The statement of understanding turns that structure into record for your defense, for your benefit, to defeat the element of willfulness. And the letters to Congress and other officials carry that record into formal inquiry. That is how we move from confusion to foundation. If you contend with the very issues we have discussed in this video series, then wisdom beseeches you to visit statementofunderstanding.com. Document your good faith beliefs. Build the structure that undergirds your understanding of the law. And as always, may truth reign supreme.